Be careful what you say because the federales are listening. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the FBI associating certain internet slang words with extremism. Now, I've known about this for a long time. Not all the words on this list, but for the most part, I've known about everything they're going to talk about here. It's not anything new to me, but to you guys, it might be new. And the reason why I would say certain things like the whole Nick Fuentes, just probably things, drama, the reason why I would take a stance like that is partially because I know what the FBI is looking at and I know what they flag as extremism. A lot of you guys out there in the streets, so to speak, may not know that. And before I go any further, let's get into a video. I'll link to this video in the description box. There's also an article I'll link to. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio and go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Welcome back. It is time for the Hot Topic Buzz. New documents reveal a list of commonly used words online that the FBI has labeled extremism. This after a FOIA request. It's a Freedom of Information request from the Heritage Foundation. The phrase red pill, made famous by The Matrix, is a belief that society is corrupt and people are victims of that corruption. The word...
Okay, before they get to the next thing, they're going to talk about red pill. Now, this is one that we in the space, so to speak, in the internet space, if you do anything with male-centered channels or whatever, we knew that this term is kind of off limits because we knew already that they kind of linked it to extremism. Okay, now the term red pill, as she said, came from The Matrix, where Neo, played by Keanu Reeves, obviously, was given the choice of taking the red pill or the blue pill by Morpheus, Lawrence Fishburne. The blue pill would put you right back in the Matrix. You'd be going back to sleep. You would not know what's going on in reality. All you would know is the world that was created for you in the Matrix. And the term blue pill is also used when you're talking about dating and relationships. Basically, it means to ignore reality. And red pill is to accept reality, to understand the nature of reality, accept it, and be able to operate within it. But the FBI is like looking at it in a negative way, that society is corrupt and bad, and you are a victim of it. I don't believe the whole thing about being a victim. I think it's more just about understanding the world around you in the true sense and not what society wants you to believe. But of course, we knew this was a really kind of a third rail topic to discuss when you label it with that phrase.
Word based, just based, according to the FBI, refers to someone, quote, who has been converted to racist ideology. And then there's this.
Okay, so before she moves on, I'm going to read the whole thing. The FBI says, based refers to someone who has been converted to a racist ideology or as a way of indicating ideological agreement. Now, what I know about the term based, it's kind of a long story. Basically, a rapper came out with it, Lil B. He would say stuff like based and all kind of just random things. And then that became a way of saying something that's cool. And recently, it's like cool and edgy. So if you have a guy that's seen as kind of racist and said things that might be kind of funny to some people, some are going to call that based. Or it could be something that's not racist at all, but cool, just like the picture of Kid Rock and Donald Trump, Dana White, Mike Tyson at the recent UFC fight. That is considered based. There's no racism there, but it's kind of edgy because of what Trump's going through, what Mike Tyson done in his past, Kid Rock, everybody, they're seen as kind of edgy and it's cool. So then that's based. That's typically what that means, although it could just mean cool without necessarily being edgy or in some kind of way offensive to some people. But again, the federales see it one way, we see it possibly a different way. Let's keep on going here.
This one, LARPing. It originally refers to groups doing live action role playing. Now it's a way to, quote, deride individuals accused of not being as extreme.
Okay, so they address those three things here. There's more we're going to get to in a moment, but LARPing. Now, as far as I know, LARPing is what she said, live action role playing. You're not actually doing what you claim. A lot of these guys, we say they LARPing when they come out here, Kevlar vests, all type of equipment on. They're not really trying to do anything. They're just LARPing. So I guess you could say that that's somebody that's not as extreme. But really, what the reason why I would use that term is to describe a person that's not really serious. They're just kind of pretending, kind of phony, which is very common online. Guys don't really want to do anything. They just talk about what they're going to do. They may show themselves as being threatening, show themselves as being one way, but they're LARPing and not really serious. And that can be a political term as well. You're LARPing as a Republican, which really vote for the Democrats. You see what I'm saying? You talk about all this stuff that you support as a conservative Republican, but when you go vote straight line, blue dog Democrat. That's LARPing. So there's quite a few ways to describe the term LARPing, but the federale is looking at it in one way. Oh, you're LARPing if you're not as extreme as we are. Okay, so these are the terms the FBI is looking at. Now, here's an article. I won't get through the whole thing here, but I want to get to the core of the issue and why these terms are identified as being linked to extremism by the federales. Now, so as was said earlier, the Heritage Foundation's oversight project said it used the Freedom of Information Act, a FOIA request, to expose FBI documents that include glossaries showing that common internet slang has been flagged as an indication of involuntary celibate violent extremism or racially or ethnically motivated violent extremism. Part of the document refers specifically to incels or those involuntarily celibate whom the threat overview describes as possibly seeking to commit violence in support of their beliefs that society unjustly denies them sexual or romantic attention to which they believe they are entitled. The assessment notes, while most incels do not engage in violence, some have been involved in at least 5 lethal attacks in the U.S. and Canada. Now, again, these terms are linked to extremism by the federales for a reason. And they think that people that use these terms are incels. Okay, that's the bottom line. And they think that incels are very dangerous. They think a lot of, and it can kind of go towards school shooters. They're trying to connect the dots. Okay, you guys that are on the internet a lot, talking about LARPing and based and red pill, we're trying to develop a pattern. It's just like it's like what they did with the BIEs, the Black Identity Extremists. Okay, you watching this channel and that channel using certain words and you're saying certain things, you're doing certain things. They're trying to develop a profile of the kind of individual that might be in the future that might be dangerous. Kind of a Minority Report, right? We're going to look into the future and see if you could commit a crime. That's what's going on here. So when you use certain words like that, when you engage in a certain speech on the internet a lot, the federales are listening, the federales are watching, and they are building the profile on you. You don't even know it, okay? All of a sudden, you try to go to Cancun, you try to fly out the country, and it ain't working. What's going on? Oh, well, hey, man, you've been identified as a flight risk. You got to stay right here in the country. Your passport don't work no more. The chip in your passport you have, it don't work no more. That, I think, is the ultimate goal here. Now, as I close, I want to say this. Let me come back so you can see me clearly. This is part of the reason why the whole Nick Fuentes and Judge Probably Things interview was a problem. Because the average normie does not understand. They're going to see the interview being taken down and all the drama as just people being afraid to highlight or platform a controversial person. It's not quite that simple. He has been deplatformed from everything, and he was put on a no-fly list already. So why would a guy like him be put on a no-fly list? Did he threaten violence? Did he commit violence? You talking about guns and whatnot he has in this? Like, why is this guy put on a list? Well, he checks all the boxes. Popular guy, number one, talking about base, red pill, all of that. He is into all of that stuff. Incel, he has talked about being an incel. So he checks all the boxes. And his followers, they think are the same way. So a guy like that is dangerous. So when you put a guy like that on a platform, now the federales' eyes that are on him are now on you. And on top of that, you got a staff full of black people who don't like guys like that. Oh, he's racist, all this and that. And you're going to create a really big problem. Big problem for no real benefit. What did you gain out of it? All that you gained was a bunch of backlash, a bunch of drama, and now the federalists' eyes are looking square on you. Was it worth it? I can't tell, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about the federales admitting, well, through a FOIA request, that they're looking at these certain terms based in red pill and whatnot as a potential indicator of violent extremism in the future? Minority Report, whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I'm not surprised here. I knew about RP and some of these terms being linked to extremism, and the federales are watching. I'm not surprised at all. I think we all pretty much knew this, hence the FOIA request. We were trying to figure out what's really happening on paper, but this is no surprise. So again, when you have certain guys on your platform, when you speak to these guys, there's a risk. If you don't mind being on the federales' radar, then go ahead. Go ahead. But if you don't want that kind of drama in your life, you got to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Very simple. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.